a smile on somebody's face. Try to make this world a better place.
I was expecting the crevices between the scales that I had carved in there to, I guess, take a little bit more of the stain and become a little more shadowed, like a larger contrast between the flat surface areas and then the crevices. So I just had to go back 3 or 4 times and apply it where I wanted it darker. In retrospect, next time I'll just get a darker stain. I think at this point I had already painted in the crevices about 3 times, and I was finally just sick of it, so I got a t-shirt and just gobbed it in there and just let it sit until it dried. And given that about everything I do is on-the-job training, I learned so well with the t-shirt trick on the other scales, I just started off with that on this one rather than painting, and it's why it always gets faster the second time around. So the stock here is made out of maple, and I read online from several sources that they said it's wildly inconsistent as to how well it's going to take the stain or not, and you can tell there's a large difference between the scales on the forestock end of it versus where the your hand grip is, where the trigger is. They, for whatever reason, ended up different shades of brown, even though it was the same stain. It's very interesting. notice here, I'm just going back over it with a second stain, using the same exact stain, just putting a second layer on, make it a little bit darker. It looked a little more appropriate that way. In some cases a third, because again the maple did not stain uniformly. This is my mad scientist moment, mixing two different kinds of paints, trying to make it darker. Couldn't get the stock to stain dark enough to suit me. The scale part of it just were not dark enough, so I just started experimenting. At this point, I gave up on the whole paintbrush idea and just started globbing it on there with my fingers. Just trying to get as much in there as possible. It just was not getting dark enough. I was filling in the shadows on the skull here with a toothpick. And I figured if I've got any overlap, there's no problem. I'll be sanding it with a 220 grit, so you'll see I wasn't terribly concerned about staying in the lines, as it were. I had not intended on doing the entire skull white. I was just going to use the white as a accent, sort of, to offset the maple, even though the maple's very light. But it just looked better. It just kind of, it sounds stupid, but it's like it more dictated to me what it needed, as opposed to me having an idea in my head. Just kind of how it normally happens. I wasn't sure what type of finish that I wanted on this, but after thinking about it, well, it's going to be sitting and it's going to be dusted. It's not like it's going to be used. This is going to be more of a wall hanger type thing with its own display. So I figured it would probably need to be very, very glossy in order to be, easily dusted. That way it can still look nice. And I definitely wanted several layers of something over that metal so the copper and aluminum wouldn't oxidize and become less shiny, temperature I don't think was ideal for this sort of application, but with this clear coat, you just put on, I think I ended up with 5 coats. You just put it on and it'll absorb it in some places, and others it'll run, so you just kind of have to watch that. Put a coat on, let it dry for at least 4 hours or so, and then go back and put another one. And I just did that over and over and over, and I did not sand it with anything in between coats. I attempted that on the first coat, and it ended up making everything look just really hazy after the second one, so I thought, well, I won't do that again. Again, learning as I go, because I've never done this before. So if you have enjoyed this video and it did help you, or at least get the wheels turning on an idea that you had, or maybe you just want to see what kind of weird thing I come up with next, please hit the like and subscribe.